Potter. I'm here with my friend Ramon, and today we're going to show you some work on this juniper. This is a Chinese juniper. It's come from Japan a number of years ago. As you can see that it's been neglected for quite some time. The growth has been allowed to just grow unchecked, and so it's got very long. So for the size of the trunk we have, the foliage mass is very large. So we're going to start by just removing some foliage and then begin to wire and style the tree, and then we'll keep coming back to the tree and show you various stages along the way. The preparation that we've had to go through with this tree to get to this point is really for a year. It took about a day to remove all the dead growth from the inner parts of the tree where there was no sunlight getting through. So we've had to remove all the dead and the inner and weak foliage just to keep the very strong foliage, mostly at the ends, and also with repotting and feeding and watering the tree and taking good horticultural care of it, the tree is now very strong and ready to grow. So it's mid-May and we're here, so the tree is just beginning to grow. The sap is actually up in the branches, but there's no extension on the foliage yet, so we're at a good position, a good time of year to be able to start this work. So like I said, the tree has not been touched for a number of years, so it's got lots of potential, lots of areas that need to be improved upon. So what we're going to try and do is reduce the foliage masses and use the branches that we like, and position those with wire. There will also be some work to be completed on the dead wood and so on. So like I said, we're going to come back and forth and we can show you the different stages of the work between this point where the tree is really untouched and what we hope to end up with at the end of it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is to begin to remove one or two of the unnecessary branches. Because of the dimensions of the trunk being relatively small, fairly thin, but with some elegant movement, we don't need this large mass of foliage. So before we start doing any wiring, we're going to just basically remove some of the longer branches that we really don't need. So for a start, we can just remove some of the long parts. We just leave branch stubs, which we may turn into small deadwood features at a later date. You see this branch here is very long, it's got very leggy, and really is going to be very difficult to incorporate into the overall design. So we're going to just remove these. Ultimately, when this tree is finished, we want to create the image of a tall, elegant tree with some very interesting deadwood and nice movement in the live vein. So at this point we've got just much more foliage than we actually need. Some of these branches are very small, they're very thin, and they're very weak. We could shape these with wiring, but always these very small branches are going to be weak. So we remove the weakest parts of the foliage in favour of the stronger, which will help the tree to grow much better. You can now see much more of the trunk line. You can see the way the live vein comes up nicely out of the soil. It turns towards and disappears in the back of the tree and then comes back into the front. You can see there's very nice movement in here, which I would assume by the age of this tree, this was probably a nursery grown tree many years ago, and so a lot of this was probably actually placed with wire when the tree was being field grown. You can see the nice deadwood, the nice shari. We're going to have to do quite a bit of work on it because particularly this area is much too thick, and also this area is very straight and very heavy. So we're going to have to do quite a lot of work to improve that. So now the work is really going to be working through the foliage just piece by piece. We'll actually wire every little single twig on this tree and wire them right out to the tips, and then we'll start to build the branch structure. So here we are on day 3. We finished all the wiring of the tree, we finished all the carving work, and we've cleaned all the dead wood up, so now we have to begin the process of placing the branches. I generally like to start placing the branch with the lowest branch on the tree first, and then we gradually build up the tree from that point. One of the things that's important with placing branches is that we not only have movement in the tree, so our eye goes from side to side, but that it also goes front to back.